And that was without even a single drop of rum.
This, my friend, is a pirate. Why don't you just pull up a stool and have a drink with it? It comes in pints? I can get you one. You got a whole half already!
Good night and party on!
Party on, Wayne!
Party on, Garth.
What's up, guys? And party on indeed, even though it is only Wednesday. Yeah, welcome back to another edition of After Work Beers. Sorry that I had to take Monday off. As I said in a couple of my posts, both on Twitter and my community post here on YouTube, had some family in town, and it was actually the last night they were in town before they head on back out. So family time is important, but we're back. Hopefully some of you guys join me here. We'll just hang out on this unusually warm Wednesday afternoon. That is one of the things that really sucks about Southern California is there are a lot of areas of California that are very beautiful. But where I live in particular, yeah, I'm close to the beach. Oh, you had to go to the beach. I hate going to the beach. But it is now October 2nd. And currently about 96 degrees outside, which is not very fun when I'm at work. It's not very fun when I try to go outside or do anything. It's just not fun. It's not good. I don't like it. But yeah, we don't get fall. But oh well, here we are. Wednesday, I'm going to crack open my beer. One that I've had before, but it's not the one I have every week like Devin always accuses me of. But another solid brew from Pizza Port. Got to put a koozie on this one because, well, the koozie has green on it too, but a lot of green on the label that blends in with my green screen back here, and all of a sudden it becomes part of the pub. Oh boy! All right, so start with some of the more non-issue topics. Hoping maybe some people jump in here and join us. So the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a joke. I think we all know that. This is a little bit of a throwaway topic, so let's go ahead and pull this one up. All right, let's see what I can do with this. There we go. Try to get rid of the ads, and then stuff just gets all squirrely. Nope, that's not going away. Can I make you go away? No. Maybe part of my problem is that I'm using Chrome, but I installed an ad blocker on this thing quite some time ago. And more often, I kept trying to pull up articles that would just straight up be like, we don't like your ad blocker. You need to get rid of it. So I'm like, oh, cool. So I have all this crap in the edges and the corners and the bottom and the just can't. Anyways, whatever. Here we are. So they have announced the 2024 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony performances, including a rumor that Ozzy Osbourne will be performing, yet unconfirmed. I think the article goes on to talk about it, but nobody's even really sure if Ozzy can still stand or speak or sing or let alone perform. Granted, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony, it'll probably only be like one song, but how good is it really going to be? Like sometimes you need to just retire rather than become the laughing stock and the joke that unfortunately Ozzy has become. But his reality TV show had a lot to do with that too. And I mean, that was like 20 years ago. That I think that was the beginning of his downfall where, he was no longer the Prince of Darkness and this, the front man of Black Sabbath and the great Ozzy Osbourne from the 80s and 90s. He was just this like bumbling fool that can't complete a sentence. But that's what we have in the White House now. So, hey, and there he is. While rock fans continue to debate the relevance and importance of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I'm one of them because I think it's ridiculous at this point. Because we're going to get into not the nominees, who's getting inducted, and every year every year it gets dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber. I don't know. It's wild that they can even still call it the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And to some of the recent inductees over the last few years, I don't doubt their contribution to the music world. Some of them I still think are a total joke, but a lot of them, it's like I don't doubt their importance and their contributions and their relevance, but nowhere in the realm of rock and roll. Like, what are we even doing here saying, oh, yeah, this is rock and roll, and now that's rock and roll? And that's it's like, no, rock and roll is a style, just like pop, just like hip hop, just like metal, just like punk, just like folk, just like country. Like you wouldn't go and induct a band like Slipknot into the like country music hall of fame. So it's like why has rock and roll become this just blanket statement of, oh well, we're gonna, LL Cool J is gonna be a nominee, oh well, we're gonna put Cher on the ballot, we're gonna like what anyways, let's continue. Ugh. Fans continue to debate the relevance and importance of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The show must go on with the 2024 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony taking place on October 19th at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland, Ohio. Loudwire announced the big performances happening at this year's ceremony, and there are some really interesting ones to watch out for. When they say interesting, that usually means probably not good. The big news this year is the all-star celebration of arena rockers Foreigner, who are being inducted this year with Slash, Sammy Hagar, pop singer, excuse me, had to clear my throat. I'm going to repeat that one. Pop singer Demi Lovato and Red Hot Chili Peppers drummer Chad Smith planning to perform in tribute to the British rock group. Foreigner will be performing as well, but wouldn't you rather see all those people performing Foreigner songs than Foreigner themselves? Womp womp. And can anyone name more than one song by Foreigner? What, like, are they just scraping the bottom of the barrel for inductees at this point? Like, The Who's Roger Daltrey and country superstar and recently outed closet metalhead Keith Urban. All right, again, I got to back it up here. Country super. This just wouldn't be one of my live streams without major tech. Of course, the second somebody starts watching, my microphone stops working. So I'm going to see if I can do a little workaround to keep the stream going and fix my microphone. It's always something. Always something. Bear with me here. And we already lost whoever my one viewer was. That's awesome. Go ahead and do this. I don't know. It's always something. If it's not my earbuds, check. Okay. All right. I think my microphone is back. If it's not my earbuds, it's my microphone. If it's not my microphone or my earbuds, it's my Wi-Fi. Oh boy. All right. Anyways, I think we are back. Check. All right. That's working. Live streaming ain't easy, folks. The Who's Roger Daltrey and country superstar Keith Urban will be doing a tribute to Peter Frampton, Dua Lipa. What are they even doing? What? Dua Lipa will be honoring Cher. Why is Cher being honored at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? And James Taylor folk and Americana artist James Taylor will team up with country artists Kenny Chesney, and I have no idea who that name is, Mac McAnally, for a Jimmy Buffett tribute. Okay, don't get me wrong. I think Jimmy Buffett deserves an honor and a tribute and whatever. But again, like, are we calling Jimmy Buffett rock and roll? Was Jimmy Buffett rock and roll? One of the biggest questions around this year's ceremony will be if Ozzy Osbourne, who enters the hall for the second time, having already been inducted as a member of Black Sabbath in 2006, will perform at the ceremony. A few days ago, the Scottish tabloid Daily Record reported that he would perform at the ceremony, but Loudwire seems to suggest that it's still up in the air. No official confirmation has come out saying that Osbourne will perform. So, just want to do a quick little check here to make sure everything's still working. Might hear a little bit of an echo here in just a moment. Hopefully not. We'll see what happens. Nobody's in here watching right now, so it's the perfect time to make sure that everything's working before I continue rambling on with my microphone either not working or sounding like garbage. Okay, so everything's good. Everything is all good. Everything's working. And back to our article. Not confirmed. Osbourne has expressed a desire to perform in past months, but whether he has the ability is another question altogether. Back in March, Osbourne was asked about performing again, and while he said he wanted to, he also admitted to having trouble standing up. It would be great to see Osbourne perform one more time, but I'd also hate to see him push himself too hard. The induction ceremony is scheduled to stream live on Disney Plus at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on October 19th. Then will be available on demand afterwards with highlights, presentations airing on ABC for New Year's Day. So there you go. So let's see if we can't find out who. My computer's freaking out right now. So let's go ahead and look into who's being inducted this year. 2024 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. Let's see what we find here. I'm going to pull that down for just a moment while I search around. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame announces full lineup of events. I don't care about the events. I just want to see to honor blah, blah, blah. Inductees. Here we go. Now we're getting on to something. All right. So this is the 2024 class of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, not the nominees, not the people. The voting is done. This is who is getting in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm going to say it again. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I will also repeat myself that a lot of these people, I will not deny their importance and their impact in the music world as a whole. But we really need to stop throwing around the term rock and roll so just willy-nilly. You know, maybe it's just me. I don't know. We'll see. See what you guys think. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Foundation announced the 2024 inductees for music's highest honor in the following categories. I don't think this is a high honor at all anymore. This is such a joke now. Performer category, Mary J. Blige. Not rock and roll. Cher. Not rock and roll. Dave Matthews Band. Very not rock and roll. Like hippie jam band. Foreigner. Fine. Peter Frampton. Okay. Cool in the Gang. What? Ozzy Osbourne. Okay. And A Tribe Called Quest. That's for the performer category. We're still just warming up here. Musical Influence Award, Alexis Corner, John Mayall, and Big Mama Thornton. Don't know who any of those people are, and yet they're achieving apparently the highest honor. Whatever. Musical Excellence Award, Jimmy Buffett. I would also argue not rock and roll. MC5, no. Dionne Warwick, Norman Whitfield. Ahmet Ertegun Award, Suzanne de Passe. This is pathetic. This is bad. This is really bad. Yeah, that's oof. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what to say at that point. So anyways, that is the very strange list. I would argue that out of that whole list, Foreigner, Peter Frampton, and Ozzy Osbourne are the only people that I would put in the category of rock and roll. That's just wow. That is something. All right. Moving on. Let's talk a little bit about Coheed and Cambria. I'm sure anyone who tunes in or catches the replay is either going to say who or I don't care, but this is one of my absolute favorite bands. And they have released a new song, which I have not listened to yet, and a video to go along with, which I have not watched. And we're going to have a grand old time listening to the new song and watching the new video together today. Coheed and Cambria shares new single Blindside Sunny. Coheed and Cambria has released a new song, Blindside Sunny, first taste of the band's next full body of work following 2022's highly regarded Vaxis Act 2, A Window of the Waking Mind, which garnered critical success and the band's first top 10 radio single of their career with Shoulders. Blindside Sunny marks Coheed and Cambria's arguably most aggressive track to date. Ooh, we shall see. It unveils a brand new villain featured as part of the Amory Wars / Vaxis universe. So if you don't know, Claudio Sanchez, lead singer, songwriter, brains behind Coheed and Cambria, has written this whole sci-fi universe into all of their albums except one. There was one exception. Alongside the new single, Coheed and Cambria shares the Max Moore directed video that features the band performing to their rampant fan base while the insidious Sunny slowly seeps into the crowd. Speaking about the new single, vocalist Claudio Sanchez shares Blindside Sunny is a song about revenge. What may seem like an innocent choice to someone could be the breeding ground of another's malicious misunderstanding. Perception can be your worst enemy. Let's continue. Get out of here. Blindside Sunny arrives on the heels of Coheed and Cambria's North America tour with Incubus, which saw the band play legendary venues across the country, including sold-out shows at Madison Square Garden in New York City, Allstate Arena in Chicago, as well as co-headline tour with legendary funk prog masters Primus this October. Coheed and Cambria is slated to headline the Saturday night at Furnace Fest in Alabama, in addition to both dates of When We Were Young Festival in Las Vegas, before they head to Australia to headline the Multi-City Monolith Festival. For the last 20 years, Coheed and Cambria have continuously broken the mold of what a rock band can be, forging their own path and building a universe around their music unlike any other. Whether it is in the way their genre-spanning approach to songwriting has allowed them to bridge worlds without being contained to one, or the multifaceted story arc of their albums and comic book series, which mark the longest-running concept story in music. Coheed and Cambria have consistently shaped new standards, never conformed. Comprised of Claudio Sanchez, vocals and guitar, Travis Stever, guitar, Josh Eppard, drums, and Zach Cooper, bass. The band has gripped listeners and press around the globe with their visionary compositions and conceptual mastery. All right, so there's the new villain. And if you're also not aware, too, they've really started to bring it with their when they release a new album, there's always a special edition box set that you can pre-order if you feel so inclined. It's usually a little bit pricey. They offer also, CD, vinyl, other options stuff, but the last couple albums, the other two Vaxis albums, have come with a like full color page book that has the artwork and the story and the everything all woven in there. So Claudio Sanchez has been releasing comic books that go along with these albums for the last many years, where he's currently working on releasing the ones for their fourth album, No World for Tomorrow, which came out back in 2007. And now when you order their albums, they pretty much come with the story and everything already in tow. So I think this is the perfect time to go ahead and pull this video up, because I have not watched or listened to this yet. And why not? Past the advertisement. Skip. Okay, hold on. Back it up. 2 minutes and 22 seconds. That is unusually brief for them, but here we go. All right. New song and video from Coheed and Cambria. Let's see what we got here. Okay. All right. Already right off the bat. His vocal style here, I'm getting very like early, like vocally, it's like their earlier stuff where he was a lot more aggressive, a lot more just like with kind of the screaming vocals like that. But then musically, like this sounds really new and fresh. I remember seeing Coheed back in the day with Avenged Sevenfold. Oh man. First of all, thanks for tuning in. I know you got your own live stream coming up here pretty soon, but thanks for stopping by. This is one of my absolute favorite bands. I try to catch these guys every single time they're in town, and here with the new song, new video, everything, like I'm super stoked on it. But this is honestly me listening to this song for like all day long at work. It kept coming up on social media, kept coming up on stuff, and I was like, nope. I got a live stream to do. I gotta watch this on the live stream. So I haven't even heard this yet, and I'm already really digging this big time. Yeah. Oh well, awesome. I know, like I said, I know you're getting ready for your stream, and hope you appreciate you stopping in while you're hopefully not using up too much of your battery, because I know you usually go for some pretty long live streams when you're out there. But let's go ahead and continue and see what we got here. Okay, so then there's that the new villain they're talking about. So like I was just saying in the article, they've been weaving this sci-fi comic book story into their music for pretty much since the beginning. There's one album where Claudio Sanchez decided he's like I want to just have an album where I'm going to just write songs about life and regular stuff. But other than that one, everything's been part of this long-standing concept story. So he said this Blindside Sonny is the new villain in the next story in the next album that's going to come out. Oh, come on. Come on. I gotta say, yeah, so far I'm definitely digging this. It's like a really good blend of the old and the new. Um, because I on their last album, Vaxis Volume 2, there was a song on that album called Shoulders that it very similar to this. Like as soon as the song starts, like that, just that guitar riff just starts in, just kicks you in the face, and for I don't know, 3.5, 4 minutes, like it just does not let up. And I feel like this track is definitely doing it too. And they've got their dynamics. When you listen through their albums, there's the fast, like riff heavy songs like this that just, you know, keep going, and then they've got the slower ones to kind of bring it down a little more mellow. Like these guys, um, yeah, this is definitely a band that I could nerd out to for a very long time. And the unfortunate thing is I don't know too many people who like their music the way that I do. Anyone else out there that is familiar with Maxfield Von Priestley, who's also a pretty well-known YouTuber. He's one of the only people I've found recently who enjoys this band, and he and I actually went and saw Coheed live here where I live a couple years ago. But more often than not, when I talk about this band, people either say who or oh, that's that one band that had that one song, Welcome Home, a long time ago. But they're still going strong, man. And gosh, I'm digging this so far. Let's continue. All right, so that was the newest offering from Coheed and Cambria. I'm digging it. I don't even know if they've really announced when the new album will be out. They're just saying that that is the first song on what will be Vaxis Volume 3. But in this whole article from Blabbermouth, there's nothing that says a release date. So yeah, I don't know, but that was pretty rad. This band continues to amaze me every time they put out something new. They've really only had in their entire catalog, I would say they've only put out maybe 1 or 2 albums where I was kind of like, that maybe wasn't their strongest effort, but I still go back and listen to them quite a bit. I own physical copies of every single one of them, if not on vinyl, in those deluxe box sets that I probably spend way too much money on. But yeah, so that was awesome. Now let's go. Let's talk about the topic that continues to make people mad. Now that I'm trying to make people mad, and I keep saying I'm gonna leave Linkin Park alone because look, I get it. I feel like they should have every right to get a new singer. They have every right to move forward. They have every right to do what they want to do. And even so, when I went live when Linkin Park did their live stream and they announced Emily Armstrong as the new singer, the handful of people I had in my chat that day, everyone was, I think, open-minded to the idea of like, okay, like they have a new singer, it's a female, and everyone's like, fine, like let's give her a chance, let's check it out. But in the course of I think that one was like an hour-long live stream, everyone, at least in my chat, was like, what is happening? Like, this is not good. I clicked on over to the Linkin Park live stream because I had it planned, but then I pulled up their chat and everything was just, she's great, she's wonderful, she's awesome. And it's like, all right, whatever, to each their own. Maybe it's just not my cup of tea. Maybe we're all missing something. But just like more and more stuff continues to come out. I'm not going to get into like the Danny Masterson and the Scientology stuff. I've talked enough about that. Whatever, we'll leave that alone. But just from a very objective standpoint, I don't feel like I'm being mean. I don't feel like I'm being a hater. It's just like I don't really feel like she's a good fit. Like her voice is not the same style. And I also understand they didn't want to get someone that was just going to try to imitate Chester. And I appreciate that. That's fine. But more and more stuff is coming out of like Chester's son is like, I don't like what they did. And okay, there's been some weird stories about him. So I don't know, we'll leave that one alone. And then Chester Bennington's mom came out, and even she was like, oh, well, multiple members of the band promised me that they would keep me in the loop and let me know what was happening. And they didn't. She found out the way the rest of the world did. And again, the comments on the internet are pretty wild where they're like, oh, whatever. They don't have to check in with his mom. She doesn't have any ownership in the band. And it's like, I understand that. I totally get that. Like, did they have to get his mom's blessing to move forward? No, probably not. At best, they probably just had to. There's probably some legal stuff with Chester's wife, to Linda. But if she's saying that band members made her a promise and they did not fulfill that promise, well, that's all I'm saying. It's like, no, they didn't have to tell her. No, they didn't have to get her blessing. But it's like, you made a promise to your friend's mom, who your friend passed away sadly and unexpectedly, and you promised his mom something. I feel like you should honor that. But anyways, every time I say I'm going to leave this alone, something else comes up, and I just can't leave it alone. Maybe sometimes I just like to poke the bear a little bit. I don't try to, but here we are. Live Linkin Park video appears to show backing vocal tracks being used. So, like I said, I'm not out there trying to get into arguments, but I've already gotten a little bit of pushback on Twitter from this, of like people saying, oh, well, it's a recording of her own voice. It's the melody for the chorus of the new song. What's the big deal? And I'm like, all right, I get it. Lots and lots and lots of bands use backing tracks now. I mean, Rob Zombie, Falling in Reverse, probably bands like Papa Roach. There's all sorts of these bands that they do all sorts of cool stuff in the studio that, unless they bring on more touring musicians on stage, whether somebody at like a DJ station or with like a keyboard to do certain different triggers and samples and stuff, it's like there's a lot of stuff you can't do that you do in the studio that you can, and every band has a different thing. Some bands are like, we're not going to do it in the studio if we can't do it live. Some bands are like, we'll do stuff in the studio. We'll use backing tracks, or we'll bring a guy on tour that like plays keys and stuff and can do all that. Linkin Park has a DJ. He's got his DJ setup. He's got keyboards. He's got computers. He's got all sorts of stuff where he can do all of that stuff that they do in the studio. However, in my very humble opinion, I feel like as soon as you are using a backing track of your own voice, that becomes lip syncing. And usually people are heavily criticized for that. But for whatever reason, I can't figure out, Emily Armstrong has become like the Taylor Swift of the Linkin Park fan base, where nobody is allowed to not like her. So I don't know. I don't understand why like the fan base is so rabid about defending her. Like all for the most part, all I've done on the internet is just said, I don't really like her voice. I don't like her style. I don't think she's a good fit for the band. And I still just like get attacked as if like I just kicked somebody's dog, which I would never do. It's just the fan base is so rabid in defending her. And I don't get it. I don't understand it. But fan filmed videos of Linkin Park performing in South Korea on September 28th appear to show a backing vocal track being used, which Armstrong has been singing over rather intensely. And here's the other funny thing is I think this article itself goes on to be like, oh, lots of bands use backing tracks and this is why it's normal and it's a good thing, which I already just went over. There are certain things you can use. I mean, well, okay, that's the wrong way to say it. At the end of the day, anyone can do whatever they want. Who am I? I'm just some idiot with a webcam, right? But there's a lot of things that other bands do. But I feel like once you have a track of your own voice playing behind yourself, it's like, is that just there as like a safety net in case your voice goes out, or in case you like you're on stage singing, like do the thing. Like I wouldn't expect them to have backing tracks of like the guitars and stuff, so that like all of a sudden the guitarist just like stops playing and it's like, oh, we still hear guitar. Like that's just weird at that point. Oh boy. During 2 instances where Armstrong stopped singing, pulled the microphone away from her face, a faint lead. It's not that faint. I'm going to play the video and you can hear it clear as day. The faint lead vocal is still present during the performances of new songs The Emptiness Machine and Heavy is the Crown. Both videos can be seen below. The videos where a lead backing vocal track is heard over the final chorus of Heavy is the Crown, which serves as the anthem for the League of Legends video game championship. That was a whole other thing I was going to talk about, and I decided not to, but it's already like a week old. I don't know. Armstrong sings, okay, it says like the lyrics from the song. You can still clearly hear her voice as she puts the mic back to her mouth again. And there we go. My earbud connected without me having to go into my settings. Thought I was going to have more technical difficulties, but that's pretty much the way my streams go. Anyways, continuing on, she puts the mic up to her mouth again, stumbles through a line before returning fully to belt out Heavy is the Crown. All right. The fan notes that they, quote, applauded Linkin Park's return with Emily from the beginning and will continue to do so, not letting the minor gripes stand in the way of fandom. The person questions the backing track or, quote, playback that's heard and notes that it looks like Armstrong is chewing gum. I've seen bands do this that are not using backing tracks, and I do not understand how people sing while chewing gum. First of all, it just bugs me. I don't know why. Just visually, it's like, but then as a singer, like, how do you do that without either spitting it out or swallowing it on accident? Like, I don't understand. And I've seen it. I have been to concerts and seen it with my own eyes where I'm like, I believe they're really playing and singing and they're chewing gum. Like, how do you do that? Apparently I'm doing something wrong. I don't know, but of course there could be a reasonable explanation for the chewing gum, which this article gets into, and it's really stupid. So here's the post that I then also shared on Twitter. Can't remember if okay, I'm going to stop this and reshare it because I cannot remember if I told it to share the audio. All right, let's try this again. Is there a way to make this full screen? Here we go. Let's watch it one more time because I feel like, and maybe this is just me, maybe it's my unpopular opinion, but I feel like it does look like she's lip syncing because even when she does put the microphone back up to her mouth, like something just doesn't quite sync up right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not totally sold, but let's see what these people say to go on to defend her. Earlier in Linkin Park's September 28th set, Armstrong temporarily dropped out of a chorus line where a lead vocal was still heard while her mouth was closed. She promptly returned to singing one line later as she moved closer towards the edge of the stage. Is this another clip? Do I need to play this? Yeah, it's I did not watch this one earlier, so let's see. Oh, it's the whole song. All right, we don't need to watch that because if it's not just a short clip, I'm not going to fish through the whole song. So here, Loudwire goes on to defend her honor, apparently. Emily Armstrong is still singing live. The use of backing tracks has become an increasingly standard practice in rock and metal concerts. It really should not be a surprise that Linkin Park are one of those bands, especially when considering their groundbreaking hybridization of musical styles, their use of layered recordings, electronic beats, and other creative studio tactics are what have always made them such a unique, compelling, and talented group. Yes, however, I would be willing to bet money that Chester Bennington never once performed with a track of his own voice playing behind him. You could see, unfortunately, I never got to see them live with Chester Bennington in tow. But even when you go and watch videos, I mean, you can just see the passion and the intensity. And I mean, he was all in 1000% every single performance. And I don't feel like there's any way they ever would have done this with him. They're just trying to cover up the fact that they made a bad choice and now they have to stand by it, because a month later you can't backpedal and go, oh, never mind, we're gonna go spend another 5 years looking for another new singer, because they've been jamming with her since 2019. This wasn't new. As the video shows, Armstrong's backing vocal is not high in the live mix, seemingly serving as support to provide a more rich sound with depth on stage. Support. If you're a professional performer, you should not need a backing track as support. Some of those other bands I listed off earlier, Rob Zombie, Falling in Reverse, whatever, there are certain things where it's samples and other sounds and other things that are not made by the 4 or 5 instruments on stage, where, okay, they still want to kind of have this atmospheric stuff. Like, that's fine. But a backing track of your own voice to serve as support, that is wild. All right. Well, thanks so much for popping in. I hope you have an awesome stream and have a great time at the Magic Kingdom. And I will catch you sometime in the near future. But yeah, hope you have a great rest of your night. Thanks for stopping by. Support. Why do you need support? You shouldn't need support. At no point does she appear to be attempting to lip sync or mime. I disagree with that, but hey, whatever. Lip sync or mime her way through the parts with any sort of reliance on the backing track. The co-vocalist is working the crowd during these instances, and missing a line or two during a lengthy and physically active headlining set is not that uncommon. Oh god, it's so cringy how much they defend her. It's so bad. She apparently can do no wrong. I have definitely argued that if they had hired a new male singer, that he would have come under much more scrutiny. But I just kind of I'm going to say it, unpopular opinion, whatever. I think people are just like all in on saying that she's absolutely amazing no matter what. You can't disagree, you can't dislike her just because it's a woman. And again, in an effort to be very objective, which I try to be, I looked up her other band, Dead Sarah, live videos, live recordings. She's not bad. Like, I'm not saying that she's a terrible singer, a terrible artist, a terrible whatever. I just think she's not a fit for this band, and she's a very different style. Her other band, I would liken much more to like Courtney Love, whole like kind of grunge, that sort of thing. And that's fine. Like, that's a very different style, and that's totally fine. But it's like, that's not Linkin Park. So that's where I'm kind of like, okay, I looked up other stuff that she's done, and it's like, okay, fine. Like, this is kind of her genre, and this is sort of her style, and she does that well. It fits that style. But this is not working. This is, but again, all you say is, I don't really like her that much. I don't think she's a good fit. And all of a sudden, man, like, people just want to attack you, and you're this and that and the other terrible person. Like, I just have a difference of opinion. Sorry about it. Not really that sorry. There are a variety of conditions any singer may be enduring at any point during a show. They have to take a moment to catch their breath. Yep, we all know how to do that. Clear their throat. We figure out times to do that too. Swallow saliva. Prepare to hit a difficult note coming up. All of these things are not unheard of, but professional musicians figure out where to catch your breath, where to clear your throat, where to this, where to get, you it's literally your job. It's what you do. It's what you practice for. It's what you prepare for. Wow. God. The reasons are endless as to why a singer may not execute every single word of every single song every single night. And no, I don't expect every single night to be flawless. That's why it's live. Like, actually, I'm going to say this, like, when I see a band live and I catch little mistakes here and there, like, it actually kind of makes me feel better, because then I'm like, oh, good, like, they actually really are performing. Because there's a lot of talk and a lot of rumors of more bands than you probably know or even want to ever admit to or hear about probably lip sync and or play to a track, aka don't really perform. I've never really heard anyone name names and specifically say this band, this singer, this person, whatever. But I've heard from various people in the industry that it's like you would be blown away if someone were to ever be like, this person doesn't really perform, this band doesn't really perform, this band is miming, this band is lip syncing. So it's totally not unheard of at all. But when I see a band live and I catch little like, oh, maybe they didn't quite hit that note, or there they took a second to catch a breath. They took, it's like I'm kind of like, oh, like they really are performing. Like I'm actually getting my money's worth, and I'm not paying to just hear the same album that I could listen to at home, but in an arena surrounded by people. When Armstrong comes back in during these moments, there's a noticeable jump in the audio level, the vocal, which is certainly live. Also, a little bit of devil's advocate here, just playing around with this as someone who has also had my hand in running sound a time or two. You have a professional sound person, especially, okay, Linkin Park is the headliner for the night. So the person behind that soundboard is their professionally hired sound engineer that they could totally be watching that and being like, okay, pull it down a little bit. Okay, put it back up to her mouth, turn it back up. Like, it's totally not unheard of for them to know, like, okay, at this point, I need to turn the guitar up a little bit. At this point, I need to adjust this. At this point, like, that's why they rehearse. That's why the lighting is all timed the way it is and everything. So maybe her microphone is live, maybe it's not, whatever. But the guy back there behind the soundboard could still be manipulating the sound and be like, I got to move this up, down, adjust, whatever. Okay. Continuing on. It is also not known if there is a backing lead vocal present on all of Armstrong's parts, perhaps just specific moments on certain songs. Well, to do that, they would have to have her go back and actually re-record all of the old songs that they plan on performing too, which would take away any spontaneity. They could never just do something that they feel like doing off the cuff because they would have to have a new backing track recorded. Why a singer would chew gum, I don't know, because that's absolutely insane. The voice is a delicate instrument, and there are numerous conditions that can affect live performance. Climate, either indoors or outdoors, can create challenges for singers, as can any ailment from the sniffles to full-blown sickness. What fans don't often see is how often musicians power through shows while feeling ill, even singers. There are a multitude of aids, from throat sprays to droplets, to help with specific ailments. Chewing gum can help increase saliva production, which is essential to delivering a top-notch performance as a singer. While it also poses as a choke risk, as sudden inhalations are necessary for singers. That's why you're a professional, because you're supposed to know how to do it. Note, we are not attempting to speculate anything about Armstrong's condition and needs on stage. This is a broad explanation of what touring singers go through and typical remedies for common challenges on the road. Definitely sounded to me like you were speculating quite a bit there, because you're already making all these excuses for why backing tracks are okay. And it's like, yeah, just not your own voice. I don't know. What do I know? Well, let's jump on in to the next one. Oh, man, where's the top of this article? What the hell happened here? Get rid of that ad. All right, there we go. We're almost there. We're at the finish line. Still can't get rid of the ads. A new trailer for Nosferatu has dropped. I am really anxious to see, and I think I could be wrong. I have not watched this trailer yet, but I have a feeling that they're going to keep the full look of Bill Skarsgård's version of Count Orlok kind of a secret until people go see the movie. Maybe they're going to show him in the trailer, maybe they're not, but I think they're going to kind of keep it under wraps a little bit. But we're going to find out here in just a few minutes together. The latest Nosferatu trailer is out, and fans across social media are loving it. Also, if you can hear a saw, I apologize. As I've been saying for multiple weeks over now, the apartment right next door is under massive amounts of construction. And apart from trying to completely soundproof my apartment. There's not really a whole lot I can do, so I apologize for streaming from a construction site. It gives us our best look yet at director Robert Eggers' vampire horror, which stars Bill Skarsgård, Willem Dafoe, Emma Corrin, and Nicholas Hoult. As per the description, this is a gothic tale of obsession between a haunted young woman and the terrifying vampire infatuated with her, causing untold horror in its wake. Get rid of that ad. The trailer has it all: screaming children, angry mobs wielding flaming torches, and extreme close-ups of Defoe's face. Plus, make sure to watch to the end to see the classic silhouette of Nosferatu behind a billowing white sheet. But how are people responding? So that looks interesting. If you have seen the latest versions of Stephen King's It with Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise, you know he is definitely making a name for himself as a great character actor. The Crow remake did not get great reviews. I may or may not even ever watch that, even when it's free on streaming. We shall see. But even in interviews, he didn't seem particularly excited about it. But this one, when people asked him about this movie, he lit up. So I think this one will be pretty good. Fans have, I'm guessing it meant to say fans have been reacting well on Twitter, posting responses under the initial tweet containing the trailer. Read on below to see a few of the best ones. In all the excitement, don't forget the evil Nosferatu role took a toll on Bill Skarsgård. Interesting. So, Nosferatu trailer reactions. Succumb to the Darkness, Nosferatu, only in theaters this Christmas. I think it's interesting that they're waiting until Christmas to release it rather than October. Standing before me was death, but I'd never been so happy. That one's weird. To me, that's cinema. Okay, is that? Yep, there's the classic I believe it was 1922 black and white silent film version. It's actually really based off of Bram Stoker's Dracula, but due to, even back then, legal rights and everything, they could not use the name Dracula, so they came up with Nosferatu, called him Count Orlok, and I believe they still got sued by Bram Stoker's estate because they said the story was just still too closely related to the Dracula story at the time. The best way to finish the year. Okay, so I believe, because that, we've seen that image. That is, I believe her name is Lily Rose Depp, Johnny Depp's daughter. Yeah, let's kick this thing off. Nope. What just happened? Oh, everything's falling apart. Hold on. Let's go, see if I can get it full screen. There we go. All right. And this is what low budget YouTube channels do. All right. First time watching the latest Nosferatu trailer.
Come to me. Come to me. I've never shared my secret with any soul.
You've had these spells since childhood. Tell me what you can from the beginning.
It is like a dream. It was our wedding. When we turned around, everyone was dead. The stench of their bodies was horrible. Standing before me was death. But I had never been so happy.
This creature is a force more powerful than evil.
Its desire is to consume all life on Earth.
Only you can redeem us. He is coming.
There is a devil in this world, and I have met him.
But he could never please me as he could. I'm ready.
Well, there you have it. I'm guessing that's let's see, it's October, Christmas. They might still put out one more trailer, but I think, as I kind of predicted, it looks like they are really keeping the look of Count Orlok under wraps until you go see the movie. So we shall see how that turns out. Yeah, and then I guess the latest version of Salem's Lot is supposed to be making its way to streaming tomorrow on, is it Max or Prime? I think, let's see. Let's look this up real quick. We got a couple more minutes. 2024. Let's see here. 2024 horror, hour 53 minutes. Okay, so it is just one movie. For some reason, I thought they'd been going back and forth with the Salem's Lot thing. It was going to be a movie, and it was going to be a series, whatever. So this will now be, to my knowledge, the third rendition of Salem's Lot. I'm basically just pulling up Wikipedia and being lazy at this point. So it was one of the first things that came up. 2024 American supernatural horror film written and directed by Gary Dauberman, based on the 1975 novel by Stephen King. The film stars Lewis Pullman, Mackenzie Lee, Bill Camp, Pillow Asbeck, Alfred Woodard, and William Sadler. It is the first feature film adaptation of the book after the previous miniseries versions from 1979 and 2004. Plot centers on a writer who returns to his hometown of Jerusalem's Lot in search of inspiration, only to discover the presence of a vampire. So, coming out tomorrow, October 3rd on Max, I believe. I think it's going straight to streaming. I thought it was supposed to get a theatrical release, but I believe I remember reading pretty much going right to streaming. Salem's Lot scheduled to be released on October 3rd, 2024. It was originally set to be released September 9th, 2022, so delayed over a full year. Post-Labor Day weekend that had been successful for the studio's past horror releases, but was delayed to April 21st, 2023 due to, quote, COVID-related delays in the post-production realm before losing its release date to Evil Dead Rise. Dead Rise. Is that the name of it? Yeah, I guess that was the name of the newest one. 2023, Warner Brothers looking to release the film on Max due to the SAG-AFTRA strike, creating a growing need for Max content, although a spokesperson stated no decision regarding the film's future distribution plans had been made yet. In February 2024, King once again questioned why there were still no confirmed release plans for the film, stating that he is not sure why Warner Brothers is holding it back. Not like it's embarrassing or anything. Who knows? In March, the film's release on Max was confirmed, and in August, it was scheduled for October 2024. According to the Film Distributors Association, it will be theatrically released in the United Kingdom and Ireland on October 11th. In September, the film was announced as the opening film at Beyond Fest, September 25th, 2024. So that's it. Pretty much in America, we just get streaming on Max, which is fine because I kind of don't really like going to the movie theater much anymore, unless it's something like Christopher Nolan. But other than that, I don't know. Anyways, let's see. seems to have reached the hour mark now. So we've gone through the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We've talked about Coheed and Cambria and seen their new video for their new song. We have seen that Emily Armstrong is not really singing live at Linkin Park concerts. And now we've seen the new trailer for Nosferatu and a little bit of what to expect with Salem's Lot coming to Max streaming tomorrow. Seems like as good as time as any to go ahead and call it an evening. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and any of you who watch on the live stream. If you are watching, whether on YouTube or on Twitter, please take a second to click on over and hit that subscribe button. Ring that bell for notifications. Make sure to set that bell to all so you get notified every time I go live or post a new video, which I haven't really done in a while, but I'm going to eventually get back to my short form videos as well. Anyways, this is John, the Creative Blue Collar Guy, with Wednesday's After Work Beers. Cheers to you. Thanks for hanging out. Any of you watching on the replay, I'll see you on Monday for Late to the Party news, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Cheers.